Lordy, 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 Beasums. Yeah. Lordy Beasums. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, what's new? Nothing is new. I don't know. I don't follow it enough. My wife always tries to show me like news stories, and Trump spent all this money on the ballroom and it's like I don't need any more evidence. You know, at some point in like 2016 or whatever, it was like, I don't need any more evidence of chemtrails. I believe chemtrails are a thing. I've not only seen, lots and lots of, I've taken lots and lots of videos of chemtrails, in the most disgusting kind of fashion, where it's just, it's so obvious that something crazy is happening, and yet, your average jackass will be like, oh, it's okay. I don't understand. What's the issue here? Jesus, that's a big fucking house. God, it must be nice to be rich, man. I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I hate being poor. I fucking hate it. Can't go this way, I guess. So we gotta turn our sails back down. Silly me. Oh, I'm just so, I don't know, man. Like, I definitely don't need any more evidence that Israel is the bad guy. Well, the inhabitants, the cult that Israel represents, because Israel is nothing. Israel is a construct. Israel is a concept. Israel is just a thing that they tell us exists, so we go, oh, okay, Israel exists. The reality is, Israel is just a place, it's just some invisible lines that we just agree to. Oh, okay, you say that it's this border, okay, that's all it is. It's not a real thing. Just drove by a Bentley. Gotta have your Bentley. You'd think you wouldn't drive your Bentley in the wintertime. But what do I know? I don't have one. Maybe I'd drive it all the time if I had one. It's the final countdown. Ba-la-la, blah, ba-la-ka-la-la, ba-la-ka-la. It's like what's it take to get you where I am? Like, how much evidence do you need to see before you? And like they're doing a good job. I have to say, they're doing a good job of making it go away, of making it be something that isn't on the tip of everybody's tongue anymore. Now it's like an afterthought, so to speak. And it's weird because I understand what it means in the public consciousness, but then I also understand what it means in reality. And in reality, the President of the United States is just a figurehead. He doesn't have any real power. And that's the other thing. Like, I always ask people this, and you never get this answer. It's like, this is one of those questions where it makes people feel stupid, so they just avoid it. But like, you don't really think the president works, do you? You don't think he sits behind his desk and is just crunching numbers all day and making phone calls? Betty, can you get me the foreign embassy? Blah, blah, blah. Like, he's not doing that. And none of your government officials are. People aren't clamoring to get those positions because it's a lot of hard work. They want to tell you it is. And it might be tedious to go shake a bunch of hands and shit, but it's not hard work. And I would absolutely love to see Donald Trump take a math test. I mean, maybe he is. Maybe he is the genius that he would have had to have been for his narrative to be true. And he just blows through it. But I'd be willing to bet he doesn't. And if it was like a general knowledge test, the GED, I'd love to see if Trump could pass the GED. It's my wife likes that show West Wing, and man, it would just be amazing to have a President Bartlett. And the way that he's portrayed in the show is that he is that guy. He's that guy that's going to ace any test you throw at him. He knows all sorts of knowledge, obscure shit, just to know it. He's voracious like that. He loves reading, and like that would be amazing. I could absolutely see myself and a lot of other people falling for a Bartlett character being elevated to the presidency. But a Bartlett character can't be elevated because a Bartlett character is inherently a good man. And the president is not a good man. The president is a real big piece of shit. He has to do some really shitty things, and it has to be weird to be like, I'm the most powerful man in the world, blah blah blah, but I still answer to all these bankers around me. I'd like to see him play The Price is Right. He wouldn't know shit. Oh man, none of them would. I mean, if you were like, the prices on ridiculous Rolex or something like that, I'm sure he knows that. But average everyday items. There's this great episode of Bar Rescue, which again is just such a crazy shit show. This friar goes around and belittles people, and it's really uncomfortable. I don't like watching his head all turn. Like John Fryer. This is like, what the fuck is his name? Why can't I remember his name right now? Bar Rescue with John. I think his last name is Fryer, isn't it? The fuck is his last name? Tapper. Taffer. That's it. John Taffer. That's it. He's a piece of shit. Like, he's just such an ugly human being. But he one of those days, one of his people that he has in the car with him is Little John. Little John, yeah. And they're looking over this bar, and I believe it's like the strainer that goes over the when you're making a martini, the strainer thing. I think that's what it is. It's a little piece like that. The bar is missing that piece, so they're using like a cup in the place of it. Like it's really unprofessional and shitty. And Taffer's like, I can't believe they don't have this piece. How much do you think that piece is? And Lil John goes, I don't know, $100? And John looks and he's like, no, you can get a package of them for like $6. Get a package of 10 for like something silly like that. But Lil John's perspective of what $100 is. It's just it makes you wonder, like, what world do they actually live in? Are there people around them selling them, shit that is way cheaper for way expensive? It's interesting. It's the final countdown. But anyway, we should all hate the Friars, that's for sure. Hate the Jays. Hate the chosen people. And if you don't, you're just fucking stupid. Like, I don't know. Well, I know some, and some are nice to my face. They're very nice to me. Like they're gonna be assholes. Like in everyday life where they are completely outnumbered and under scrutiny, people are gonna outwardly be assholes all the time for no reason. No, they are assholes, no doubt about it. They're entitled, arrogant assholes. Sam Bernstein. It's so interesting to me, like when you think about things like Sam Bernstein is one of the main TV, ambulance chaser lawyers in here in Detroit. You ask a Detroiter about Sam Bernstein, and they're gonna say he's the lawyer. You guys don't even know who he is. It's weird. You have your own version of Sam Bernstein. Sam Greenberg or whatever it is. Whatever state you live in, you have your own version of Sam Bernstein. Multiple. But many years ago now, when I was valeting at the country club that he belongs to, and I remember him pulling up, and he had on a pink shirt and these gray these gray slacks, and the slacks were like all the way up to his nipples, like they were just so high up. I don't know how that happens, man. What makes you start pulling your pants up like that? I'm not at that age yet, so I have no idea. But he would get out and he would be like, "Hey, boys!" He'd call everybody boys. All the men out there working, some of which to support their family. "Hey, boys!" And he would tip reasonably well, but that's because he was buying his prestige. He was buying the ass kissing he loved so much. "Oh, hey, Mr. Bernstein. Hey, Mr. Bernstein. I'll go. How's it going, man?" What's your new distraction you're falling for today? It's all just a bunch of distraction, man. I forgot my brace and I feel fucking naked without it. I hate it. It hurts. It sucks. I got Lerner and Rowe in Iraq. Need a check. That's their commercial, right? That's so funny. In Iraq, need a check. Call Lerner and Rowe. 555. Yeah. And then there's Mike Morse. Mike Morse, I think, is national. Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? Jesus Christ. What a dumbass. Oh. Man. I'm surprised you're not a bigger Nick Fuentes fan there, Algo. Nick Fuentes seems right up your alley. He's bigoted in all the right ways. I do have to give Algo credit. Algo has a Confederate flag tattooed on him, but it's also a rainbow pride flag. And it's probably one of the better tattoos I've ever seen. I'm sure it makes rednecks really angry. It's so weird to me, all that shit, how people just get angry over other people's shit. You're disrespecting me. You're disrespecting me. The only way I can disrespect you is if you allow me to. And I don't mean like physically, like, oh, I'm gonna punch you if you... No. It's if you get disrespected by something I've said with words. It's a goddamn gay-ass rebel flag. It's a great one. I give you that. I give you credit on that one. I don't know why that song's in my head today. It's just so much, it's so much distraction everywhere. And everybody's so arrogant. The arrogance is the biggest thing, man. Everyone's arrogance is just out of control. And people always, it's always a big hit when we go to jail in the South. That's often. I guarantee the guards, hey, what's that about? What's that about? Oh, I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Just make my little wiener jiggle. Why you make my little wiener jiggle? It's a wiener. It's a wiener. It's really scary, dude. It's scary how well they have gotten us to hate each other. Your average person riding around is like a bad look away from getting in a fight. There's at least one guy I know of, but I know there's more than that, where, as a prank, he just mean mugs people. And gives them this like exaggeratedly goofy kind of mean mug, and just time after time after time, the guy's like, what's up, and starts trying to fight him and shit. Why would you give a shit? We get accused of making fun of their heritage. Well, you are. I mean, so? Although lets them know it's very personal and we're making fun of them directly. I'd love to see it. That would definitely be a pretty funny interaction. That's my heritage. You making fun of my heritage for? Like, it's so stupid. People are just so stupid. Does it take away from it? Like, does me making fun of it? Now you're like, man, all over the world now, people aren't gonna feel the same way because you said this or you did that. Well, it's fucking nuts, man. If it's your heritage, then you should be cool. You should be happy. You should, whatever I do or say should not affect you in any way. Especially if you're right. Like, if you're on the side of righteousness, you're the good guy, you don't get upset over stupid shit. You don't, people can't get you upset by challenging you. That's the thing you see so often in any of it, just in anything. People who are the most arrogant, loud, pushy, egotistical, whatever you want to call it, those people are always the quickest to crumble. Making fun of our heritage. Yeah, well, what do you know about it? You tell me about that Confederate flag. You tell me what it means. You tell me the origins of it and all that. Go ahead. Let's see how much you know about this heritage you're so protective over. And 100% of the time they're dumb. They don't know shit. I just think people are shockingly stupid. And it's all by design. We're supposed to be stupid. If we aren't stupid, then we're smart. We're educated, we're unified. But when we're stupid, we're oh, I'm gonna say my pledge of allegiance to the flag. Did you see that shit with Trump? How come nobody's talking about that? I don't president interrupting a football game to demand allegiance to him. Raise your right hand. I solemnly swear to follow the orders of the President of the United States. The fact that everyone was booing is almost like a cover-up. Because what he said was fucking crazy. It was crazy. And I don't, if maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it happened pre-presidency. I thought they said something about Trump being the first president to attend an NFL game and who knows how long. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I know that the live footage didn't seem like anybody was booing. And I thought it was kind of, when I was watching it, because I watched it live, I thought it was kind of weird that there were no boos. I thought there would be boos. But the live broadcast didn't show you that. It's like they knew. They knew what they were going to do, so they had their filter on. They had their boo filter on. We have this new filter that turns boos into cheers. Are you saying boo earn? Are you saying boo or boo earns? I was saying boo earns. My neighbor got in a car accident last night. Fucked her shit all up. Hit a house. God damn. That's so bad. I feel so bad for them. I feel bad for people, man. Like, it's just, it's the richest of us act as though, well, if you just worked harder, if you just tried harder, if you just put in some more effort. Man, people have no idea. It's so much easier to succeed when you come from success. And yeah, I know there are people that come from the fucking gutter who end up making themselves very successful. And that doesn't mean everyone can do it. That just means those people are very special. And nobody says that, It's supposed to be, well, Jay-Z, he was able to get himself out of the ghetto. Why can't every other black person get themselves out of the ghetto? Because Jay-Z is a fucking genius. He's a genius among geniuses. And everybody doesn't have that acclimate. Everybody doesn't have that that same skill set. That same genius level, whatever, in anything. Most people don't have a genius level for anything. Well, everybody's really good at something. There's one thing you're really good at. And hopefully you do that thing you're really good at more often than you don't. But very, very few of us have genius level intellects on in any sort of given arena. It's the final cackback. I really wish that song wasn't in my head. All right. Do me a favor if you're watching, like, share, and sub. If you hate Israel and you think it's time that the Goyim unify and overthrow the masters, like, share, and sub, man. If you don't think that way, I don't even understand why you're here. Do you know what page you're on? Don't fuck everything Israel and Fryer. Fuck everything about you guys. There's nothing good. And you know how I know there's nothing good? Because I've been doing this for such a long time, begging for somebody to come tell me why I shouldn't hate them. Tell me why I shouldn't be proud of my anti-Semitism. And nobody ever has anything to say. Isn't that interesting? For them being such goody-goodies, nobody can ever tell me, like, oh, no, dude, they do this. As a matter of fact, not only can nobody tell me anything like that, even AI could not tell me a concrete example of how Israel has helped the United States. It is odd Epstein came from Israel. Not really. Not when you know history. Like, it's one thing if you've been, keeping track of this situation since October 7th, and you only to the propaganda controlled media, they tell you, but it's a lot worse than that. Epstein is just Maxwell number 2, really. And Maxwell might be somebody else, like he might be Maxwell is blah blah number 2, I don't know. But from what I can tell, Maxwell is the first example of this character, this all-powerful, all-connected character who operates the blackmail, blah, 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 bullshit. But Epstein is a creation. Epstein is virtually fake. And the real truth is, the only reason we know about Epstein is because they told us to pay attention to it. Epstein was, it's like Charlie Kirk, right? Charlie Kirk was made by Israel to eliminate him. I can't say assassinate. He wasn't assassinated. He was murdered. He's not on the assassination level. But it's like people are just falling for whatever side of it they want to, not going with what the evidence tells them. And I really suggest people look into Dr. Judy Wood. And her take on 9/11 is, to me, the best one. But also to apply what she says to everything. For me, it's you what she considers herself, or what she is by profession, by trade, is considered a forensic archaeologist. So when there's some sort of collapse of a building or a structure or something, they call her to the scene and she tells them what happened based on what the evidence is. And she would say that she didn't like to talk to people, the sheriff or whoever. She didn't want to talk to anybody before she got to the scene because she didn't want anybody else's bullshit influencing her assessment. And she says, like, look, if You know, if you go to 9/11 and you're told planes hit the buildings and then knock the buildings down, then you're going to look for the evidence to prove that. And anything that doesn't go with that, you're going to discard. But if you just go to the situation and you say, you know, there's rubble there, and you just start looking at all the evidence, and then if the evidence then tells you, yes, a plane did this, well, then that's what happened. But what she said was she would go to the scene and let the scene tell her what happened, not the people around. And I believe I do the same thing. You know, I never started out being like, oh, the Jays are bad guys, we should unify. That wasn't a thing. In reality, I was I I would have defended it. You can't label a group of people. You can't lump everything together. Don't do that. You know, and that even 10 years ago, you know, I would have said that. Even in January of 2020, when I made the choice that I was no longer going to spend my energy and time on chemtrails and all these other things, that I was going to look into Israel. I still thought it was Israel. And I still had this idea that there were good ones out there and bad ones out there, and you can't, but now that's gone. From what I can see, from what the rubble is telling me, is that is a disgusting pedophile cult, and supremacist pedophile cult, and I don't care if you're the loudest Israel critic, but at the same time you're like, but I'm still a friar. No, it doesn't work that way. I show me the friars that are the big friar movement to eliminate Matitza Bopé. Love to see it. I really would. I would love to see them doing the right thing. I would love to see them, eliminating the negatives, the horrendous practices that they do. But you don't see that anywhere. And to me, that's extremely telling. They all know. They know what I know. You're not in the cult, and you don't know what I know. And this just, there's just so many pieces to this that it's almost overwhelming. And if you're, it took me all of the years to get to here. For you to just be like, okay, well, I'm going to do that now too. I'm going to believe what you believe now too. That's a hard thing to say. The Secure Community Network, the Havara Agreement, Team Jorge, act.il, the Bottom of Darkness, all of these pieces to this puzzle are there for you to find relatively easily. I've given you a list of receipts in the description of this video. If you can look at every link that I provide you, and you still don't think there's something going on, you still think the friars are good. Yeah, there are some bad apples, but for the most part, they're good. If you still think that way, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear why, how. Like, how many of you knew that in 1933, the Zionist Federation, and the Nazis, like right when the Nazis were getting going too, strangely enough. And there's a ton of shit that happens in the 30s, 32, 33 time frame, all over the world that is fucking insane. But in 33, the Zionists and the Nazis signed an agreement allowing 60,000 friars, German friars, to move to Palestine and start colonizing. What is in the Talmud, you can never be for the Jews. If you knew what was in the Talmud, yeah. Yeah. Especially the whole children 3 years in 1 day thing. Whoa. That's the worst time to get a Jeep, man. My next door neighbor just got a Jeep. Must have traded in his big truck and got himself a Jeep. But it's wintertime, so he can't take the tits out. I hope he doesn't have ducks. He's not the kind of guy that would ever have ducks. For those that don't know, the Talmud says that if a goyim violates a child, they should be put to death. However, if a chosen violates a child, as long as they are 3 years and 1 day old, the child now becomes property of the friar. And if you're a TCAP fan, you remember Jeffrey Sokol and his marriage contract. Yeah, that's what he was talking about, where he pays the dowry for the chick, for the little girl, and he now owns her. She's kind of like his wife, but more like his property. I mean, this is their religious text. Is like specifically addressing it. You can't hide behind, well, it doesn't say this or it doesn't say that. This specifically says, yeah, it's okay. As long as 3 years and 1 day. Very specific. That's crazy. Why does anybody support this shit? I mean, literally, we mutilate our children. We traumatize and mutilate our children to appease them. Does anybody think circumcision doesn't create trauma? Are you really that stupid? And when you start like putting it together and you go, wait a minute, these children are hours old. They've been alive for a couple of hours, if that. They're just making connections, and they're these beautiful, perfect little things. They're perfect. And you're gonna allow them to mutilate yours. And what they did to mine, they did such a bad job on it that he had to have a second, once he was a little bit older, he had to go under, and they had to clean it up because it was like half, it was bad, and he would have looked all deformed. I didn't want to do it, but at that point, we had already been tricked when I didn't know what I know 13 years ago, 14 years ago. If I would have, it wouldn't happen. I don't care what my wife said about aesthetics and blah, blah, blah. There's no fucking way I would allow my child to be traumatized like that, mutilated and traumatized, showing who his true owners are. And you might not think it's that, oh, come on, it's not that big a deal. You understand that the only reason your God, your silly piece of shit God, doesn't destroy the world, it doesn't matter how we treat each other. It doesn't matter how we worship, if we go to church. It doesn't matter if we destroy the planet. It doesn't matter if we hurt the animals. It doesn't matter if we hurt the children. None of that matters. The thing that keeps your God from destroying the earth again is the covenant between Abraham and God, the circumcision covenant. Cutting baby dicks. That's what keeps your God so happy. You know, I was thinking about this. Don't you think it's strange? Don't you think it's strange that easily one of the most important people in American history, easily, one of the people who changed the world and will forever be remembered. You get your Washingtons, your Jeffersons, but Lincoln, the guy that, quote, freed the slaves, even though, that narrative is dumb as shit. The guy that freed the slaves, his name is Abraham. Abraham. Honest, Abe Lincoln. That's how we grew up. Abe Lincoln. It's Abraham. Abraham. The father of the modern day, freedom, and it's Abraham. Abraham gave all of us freedom. The character Abraham Lincoln is come on. And trust me, Abraham Lincoln is a character. If he's real, I'd be surprised. But, maybe the character, the person existed, and then they just embellished and created his narrative. But just look at all the pictures you see of him. They don't necessarily all look the same, like the same person. And then he's always in these, like the Civil War pictures, where he's just standing there, and there's another guy standing there, and another guy, and there's nothing going on. They're all just fake. It's all fake. And believe me, this isn't something I want to think. This isn't like I was like, I'm going to tell everybody history is fake, and that's going to make me super popular. And yeah, you're saying you don't believe in Abraham Lincoln? Do you know how many truthers would pshaw me for saying that? This isn't a popular opinion. The crazy part is, it's just like 10 years ago when I really start focusing on the friars, and then 5 or 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 2020, when I say this is what I'm going to focus on, everybody, wife included, told me I shouldn't do this. I can't do this. You can't focus on one group of people, especially that group of people. Didn't you get the memo? They're off limits. And I was like, nah, I know it's not the popular thing to say, but it's the right thing to say, so I'm going to say it. And now here we are. 5 years after my declaration, but it's definitely not the start. Like, it actually surprises me when I go back and I listen to TBG songs, and I hear that I've been calling out the friars for much longer than just, you know, just since 2020. I'm proud of myself for sure, but I was still questioning. I wasn't sure yet, and it wasn't until I became sure of it in 2020 that I really started going in that direction. But everybody said, don't focus on that. What about the chemtrails? What about what about Switzerland and the World Health Organization? All these things, and it was like you just didn't understand, wouldn't register. Like, I am talking about all those things. Don't you get it? I'm just talking about it on a higher level. How do we oust and destroy the World Health? Well, we have to know what we're doing, who we're targeting. We have to be the plan of attack has to be well thought through. And it doesn't matter what thing you look into. If you look deep enough, you're going to find them. I mean, even Freemasonry. Freemasonry traces its origins to Judaism. So while you're sitting there, dude, bro, it's the Freemasons. The Freemasons could... Like, dude, okay, so where'd they come from? Why are people... How do you do that? How do you stop your scrutiny? How do you stop, you get to a point where you're like, oh man, this is infringing on things I like, so I'm going to stop looking at it. Who does that? How? It's wild, man. It's wild. But, come on, interact. There's 7 people here. There's nobody commenting. Why is there nobody commenting? Why is nobody telling me, dude, you're wrong. They're good people because you're wrong about this because of this. And where is this opposition? Where is this engagement? I crave the engagement. I know this guy just likes hearing himself talk. I'd like to hear you. And I do mean people with real things to say. Don't, gotta be specific. Every time I say that, my kid will be like, gotta be dad. Sorry, you have to be specific. Where's your pride? Really? Where is your pride in what you believe, in who you are? You should be proud of who you are. The thing you attach yourself to should inspire you and make you feel good. and make you feel proud of it and yourself, and not have to be like, well, not that part. Oh yeah, well, not that part. Not we're not. No, we don't want to look at that part. Don't no, don't look at the history of it. No. If you have to do that with shit, then you shouldn't you shouldn't believe in it. But it's arrogance and it's fear. For some strange reason, and it's so crazy. How did they get you guys all to be scared of the devil, of going to hell? It's a ridiculous concept. And it's clearly, like, when you break down the design of it and why it is the way it is, the logistics of it, you see that it's like, it's always so shocking to me that I'm driving down the street, passing houses, like, especially, in Dearborn and shit. But you can pass these hundreds of thousands of dollar, $1 million houses, and all these people are considered successful people. They have big bank accounts, multiple cars. They're these, you would assume intelligent people. And yet, they believe in Sky Daddy. They believe in hell and heaven, and and you just go like, how the fuck do you do that? How have you not seen through that yet? It's not like I've had access to information or situation you don't have. Oh, I saw the secret book where they said it's all fake, and then they kicked me out real quick. And unfortunately, I couldn't get a picture of it. But trust me, it's in there. No. Doesn't the fact that you can't proudly discuss, debate, engage in a religious discussion, backing your beliefs, doesn't that trigger something like, hey, maybe there's something wrong here? Why do I get upset anytime somebody doesn't believe what I believe? Or at least what I say I believe. Because I don't think a lot of you believe it. I think a lot of you say what you need to say. Like it's weird to think about it, but like, my wife does it all the time. Where it's like, you realize it's just the two of us talking, right? There's nobody else that can hear what's being said. Nobody's going to hear you admit that I was right about this or whatever, and then go, you said that, we got you. Like, that's not how it works. But again, it's so weird to have to be like, to live in this illusion of freedom, that we're free and free and free, and it's the greatest country in the world, and we're free to think and be who we want to be and all that. And try to challenge the narrative. It's just strange that people, the fact that you can't challenge the narrative should show you that you're not nearly as free as you think you are. You definitely can't freely travel anywhere. But it's just, it's like, I shouldn't exist. Right? Somebody, if your shit is real, then I shouldn't be able to point it out. I shouldn't be able to ask questions you can't answer. I shouldn't be able to, mock you so successfully and inefficiently. Your shit is not real. And then it's literally, belch. It's literally a friar fairy tale that's used to control you. It's not even a like it's that's exactly what it is. And the evidence for that is everywhere. The evidence that anything in that book is true, it doesn't exist. You know, you can't show me anything from the Bible and be like, look, that's true. We know that's true because this is it's true. Like, other than a couple of maybe like locations, which of course, if you're gonna write a book that's all about manipulating people, there has to be some truth to it. And you know, if the Bible took place on planet Peepop, then nobody would give a shit. This is a story that happened on a planet far, far away. And even though, again, Jesus doesn't down and be like, hey, you're on a planet spinning around you're not, you know, the sun is the center and the planet, and then there's actually lots and lots. It's bigger than you can even imagine. And nah, that's not how it works. Anyway, this is boring. So I appreciate those that do come, you know, whether or not, like even the dumbasses, it's appreciative. Or I'm appreciative. I appreciate it because you provide the example of what I'm always talking about. If I was wrong, people wouldn't spend so much time and effort saying dumb things that have nothing to do with what I'm saying. Trying to change the subject and shoot the messenger and all that. If I was wrong, they would just engage and be like, oh, dude, you're wrong about this. Hey, I looked into that thing you said about this, and I think you're wrong because of blah, blah. Like, it's just simple. It's simple. That's progress. That's how progress takes place. But this shit is like, you know, it tells you what you need to hear. You know, it validates everything I'm saying, and it's all just it's the little pieces that you have to put together. Because obviously we live in a system that's not going to come out and be like, Guy Williams is right. You know, the system instead is going to come out and say, okay, those people like Guy Williams are wrong. They talk about Israel and the Jays and stuff. They're wrong with everything they say. And because of that, nobody's allowed to talk about it. You get in trouble for talking about that. You can go to jail. You can be deported. How else do you figure it out? If I'm wrong, how do I know I'm wrong if I'm not allowed to have the conversation to begin with? It's really simple, man. If I was wrong after all these years, don't you think there'd be some sort of rabbi, or I wish the ADL weren't such a bunch of piece of shit cowards. I know they monitor this shit. And they're just the worst of the worst people, using the most cowardly system they can to you know, protect themselves, to insulate themselves. Because they can't engage me on anything. They just can't. If they could engage me, it would, you know, it would be different. If they had something to say, if I was wrong, if I was just some guy saying, you know, just random shit that wasn't true, they would have a field day with it. Instead, the pretty standard response is that I'm not supposed to talk about it. You're not supposed to pay attention. You should just get off this feed right away and go watch something else. So many times, other commenters are telling the other commenters that they shouldn't even, don't waste your time with this guy. Stop talking to this guy. Who the fuck would do that? Who the fuck is arrogant enough to think they could tell somebody else they don't even know to get off of a video? This isn't good for you. Get out of here. It's It's all right in front of you guys. So have yourself a wonderful day. Check out all the links. Go get your free download, www.bilderberg.group.com. It's free. Just click download. It'll ask you how much you want to pay. Click 0 and it's free. Share it with your friends, please. Those that do donate, we absolutely do appreciate it. Thank you. You guys go check out the most important film ever made, which is Hollywoodism. Go check out the most important article ever written, which is Israel, Hayom, Bottom of Darkness, which the article will kick you out. Can we do a Q&A? Oh, sure. I bet you're going to come up with some really, really mature, intelligent questions. You have till I'm done. If you can come up with something to entertain me and keep me engaged, well, then maybe I'll keep going. But the Israel Hayom article will kick you out for some fucked up reason. I've never seen anything like it. It's very counterintuitive, very counterproductive. You as a website would not want to make it difficult for people to use your website. And yet, when you're reading the Bottom of Darkness article, it's going to keep kicking you to an article about how Israel destroyed Assad's Syrian navy. Like it tries to kick you off of the exposure piece and puts you to a propaganda piece. Oh. Like that's please, I like the self-promotion selfish version of me tells you the most important link is the website. Go get your free download. But the reality is that Israel Hayom, reading that Israel Hayom article is the most important thing you can do. Watching Hollywoodism after you read that article is just as important. And, as much as I want you to go get your free downloads, go get your free listen, all that shit, I'd much rather you educate yourself. And maybe if you educate yourself and you see what the problem truly is, it'll help you connect the dots and it'll make you into the better person. And you'll have the firepower, the weaponry necessary to engage in the conversation with someone. Like a real big part of me wants to start doing protests and shit. I just physically it would be very difficult for me. But I don't hear anybody making these arguments. So like if nobody else is gonna make the argument, then it leaves it to me. And the thing about me is I never use conspiracy theory, right? None of my shit hearsay, none of my shit is Goyim produced. My list of receipts is all them. They made the things that I'm telling you to look at. So that standard tactic of hiding behind, that's just anti-Semitism. That's anti-Semitic. Those are anti-Semitic tropes. Well, that shit doesn't apply when they're the ones writing it. And it really doesn't apply anyway, because none of it's against Palestinians, and Palestinians are the Semitic people in that conflict, not them. They are Their own studies have shown that 95% of them don't have Semitic blood. They come from Ukraine. They come from Europe. They come from the U.S. Belch. But the Bottom of Darkness article is the piece. It's that missing link. It's the confirmation that then explains how all of it works. How you have this group of people who believe themselves to be superior, supreme, supremacist, that they can do, it's not like they have all this power so they do good. With the power, they do horrible shit, right? We're not talking about some difference of opinion. Well, they believe, their belief structure, they killed my Jesus. So, of course I don't like them. They killed Jesus, and Jesus is what? No, it's not like that. I'm not some dumbass. We're talking about a group of people that uses ritualistic sexual abuse to facilitate their entire identity. How do you have an entire population of people that are not only okay with genocide and all that shit, but they take advantage of it? They get in a bus and the bus pulls up to a neighborhood that's been evacuated and they all run out, tripping over each other, trying to claim the house that they're going to now live in. These are really, really awful, disgusting people. And how do you do that? You're just going to go run and claim a house knowing a family lived there and who knows what happened to them and all their belongings are still there, and you're just going to, that's all your stuff now? Who in their right mind could do that? You wake up one day and you're the only person left. Well, that's one thing. But that people were, there's food still in the fridge that's edible because this happened, days, weeks ago, where they cleared these people out. Who can do that? You see endless videos of they say it's settlers, but it's not just settlers. It's random Israelis blocking the food, the aid trucks from getting in, destroying the aid truck supplies, knocking the boxes off and stealing them. These aren't Zionists, big scary Zionists. These are just regular random people partaking, enjoying the spoils of a genocide. Who the fuck could do that? And it's not even like they don't have enough. There's more than enough. They already have more than enough for all of them to live really comfortably and well and all that. And the Palestinians had been, just whittled down into this small, isolated, tiny little area. But that's not enough. Palestinians aren't allowed to even have that. Once they eliminate the Palestinians, I mean, you have to wonder who's going to be next. Whether it's Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, which country, because they could have ended this whole Palestinian conflict a long fucking time ago. They haven't, because ritual killings is a big deal. Spilling blood is a big deal. They're not going to sacrifice their own. And if they're not going to sacrifice their own, who better than people that look literally just like them? Could be their brothers and sisters and shit. right? It's like a farm. Palestine has been like a farm for them. And if you're a farm owner and you go ahead and kill all your cattle because you want one hamburger, well, you're not going to be able to have hamburgers anymore, are you? But if you nurture certain aspects, well, we let them live in the cages. We let them they can lay down, they can stand up, right? We bring them food. They're free. They live a good life. They have no worries other than us killing them. They have no worries. No random predators are gonna get at them. I mean, they don't even leave the little pen that they're in, so they don't even know what they're missing in the outside world. It's warm, it's nice. And they breed them so they can be killed. So they can be sexually assaulted and killed. Because when they do it to their own children, it's for transcend. It's like that's like meaningful, that's meaningful rape. When it's the Palestinians, that's just for fun. That's for funsies and maybe some ritual shit. Some Kaparat sacrifice kind of shit. But that's what to me, that's why they do it the way they do it. They enjoy it. They enjoy the slow kill. And it's, for 76 years, they've been able to do whatever ritual they needed to do. Every year spilling, whatever blood they felt necessary. Without any repercussions. Without any losses on their end. Maybe the occasional whatever martyr gets killed. But most of the casualty stories out of Israel are fake. Somebody dies in a car accident. Somebody has a heart attack. Somebody dies of natural causes one way or another. They have an aneurysm or some shit. Well, now that's there was a random terrorist attack and a poor Israeli was killed. One or two. It's always one or two. At the most, it'll be 4. But it's there was a car accident and 2 people were killed. All right, let's stage it, make it look like there was a Muslim terrorist attack. And don't worry, we already killed the attacker, so you won't have to hear his side of the story. Isn't it funny how the whistleblower over there got in trouble and not the rapist who sexually assaulted the Palestinian prisoner of war? The rapist who went on TV and became a celebrity? Yeah, that piece of shit, that ugly. Oh my God, what an ugly human being. Inside and out, he is the ugliest, stereotypical, just ugly. And at first he was bragging about it with his mask on. But then because he got so much support and so much assurance that he would be protected, he took his mask off and just started doing the talk. He literally became a celebrity because he was raping Palestinian prisoners. And then the female whistleblower, yeah, she got arrested. I mean, that's just... That's flabbergasting. That's fascinating. That's insanity. It's so hard to put it into context. Because there's just nothing to even compare it to. It's like, imagine the rapist being on TV. It's not just a rapist. He's a soldier. And this was a prisoner of war. Multiple, but what it's in reference to is only because of this was only a story because somebody had to catch it on film. This is happening every day, all day long, without being caught on film, so we don't know anything about it. But there's a famous video of 3 Israeli soldiers with big shields forming a wall, holding the wall, and then another couple soldiers are holding this, I think it's a dude, I'm pretty sure it's a dude, holding a dude down, and you can see this piece of shit is taking it to him. And the only reason so because of the video, there was an outcry. The soldiers who partook were initially arrested, but then not the Zionists, just a large group of Israelis, just average Israeli citizens, friars from all different sects, stormed the facility that they were being held in and demanded their release. So they were released. And then, like I say, this dude went on and made a fucking successful career out of being a rapist. It's astonishing. It should not exist. What fucking world do we live in that this is what's happening along with everything else? Like, hey, how about this? How about you point to a good thing that Israel is doing regarding this whole scenario and how, it's an unfortunate set of circumstances, but there is this positive light. What is the positive light for anyone other than Israelis? Tell me something good about it. I know I'll get the racist or killing Muslims and shit. I know those comments exist. I get that. I expect that. How will Americans benefit from this, even the slightest? Even slightly. How will average Americans, not friar Americans, but average Americans? I really do need to do the AI chat. I need to look into how to do that. I need to start talking to AI because you guys won't talk. I get the occasional reasonable comment from an algo, but just look at the rest of the shit, right? I cannot believe we live in this world. When you look at like Vietnam, right? And how a society that didn't have cell phones, so they weren't all connected, came together as a whole to protest our government's involvement in Vietnam and just the atrocities being committed there, right? And yet, it's literally nothing compared to what's happening right now with Israel. Like, as bad as the Vietnam shit was, the Vietnamese could defend themselves. They were a country. They had a military. They had weaponry. They had defenses. And it wasn't, they would show us stuff every day, but it wasn't the footage that we have today. The endless stream of footage showing the atrocities that are taking place every day. And yet we, the modern more advanced, smarter, much more connected society. We're not becoming hippies. We're not protesting this shit. Unified protests all across the country. Use your other phone while asking. Yeah, I know. I just need to figure out what the AI, how to get to the AI program. I don't know. Oh, it'll be great. You weren't here for that. So the other day, I was stuck talking to AI, the Facebook AI, and I should have taken more pictures of it, but it was a text conversation, so I took some screenshots. At one point, I asked it about the Talmud. I said, how do you? I asked it about the Talmud, and it said it didn't know anything about the Talmud, and I said, how do you? It said it didn't have the information about blah blah. Is it something? It said, is it ensuring the information is accurate and reliable? I can't see what it says. This approach helps maintain a neutral stance and avoid spreading unverified information. I said, how do you not have information about the disgusting Talmud and the horrible things it says? Because I asked it about that. Its response was, the Talmud is a complex and multifaceted text with various interpretations. If you have specific questions or topics related to the Talmud, I'd be happy to help provide information or content. I had already asked it a specific question. I said, it says friars are allowed to rape kids. Is AI okay with that? It said, I don't have information on that topic. Is there something else I can help you with? I said, AI doesn't think raping kids is wrong. It said, I can't help you with that. At another point, I asked it about Team Jorge, and it claimed it didn't know anything about Team Jorge. And I said, Team Jorge has a Wikipedia page. Look it up real quick. Now, if you've ever talked to AI, I didn't know it was like this until I did it. But AI starts responding immediately after you hit enter. Like it's a fraction of a second. It's actually really like shocking how fast it works. But I said, Team Jorge has a Wikipedia page. Look it up real quick. This is what AI said about Team Jorge. Team Jorge is a secretive Israeli cyber mercenary group specializing in election disruption and influence operations, led by Tal, T-A-L, Hanan, H-A-N-A-N, also known as Jorge. The group has been involved in manipulating over 30 national-level elections worldwide through hacking, disinformation campaigns, and sabotage. Their primary tool, Advanced Impact Media Solutions, automates control of thousands of fake social media profiles to spread misinformation and influence public opinion. Isn't that an interesting thing for it to say? So I started asking it, can you give me examples of how Israel is our ally? Because I asked it, why do we give Israel so much money? And they said, oh, well, because Israel's our greatest ally, and, the standard rhetoric bullshit. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean they're our biggest ally? How do they help? And one of the things it said was like, it always starts with, well, they give us intelligence and they share technology and security information, and I'm like, yeah, but that's just hearsay. Those are just ideas. There's no proof of that. We just have to believe that when they say it. Can you give me concrete examples of how Israel is our ally? So then it said something about in Hurricane Katrina or one of the hurricanes, Israel sent some help. And I was like, again, that's really just sort of hearsay, and that doesn't help America. That's just responding to something. That for all we know, they could have been responding to, you know, the one area where they know they were hit hardest, right? And I really do need to talk to AI about secure community network and all that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to figure that out and do that. So it said that, and then what else did it say? It said something else that was, I can't remember, it was stupid. And I was like, I kept saying, this is all just hearsay. What are you talking about? And it said, well, I have provided credible evidence of this, that, and the other. And I said, you didn't provide anything credible evidence. You made a claim and then didn't provide any evidence to back that claim. You just said that they helped in Hurricane Katrina. And it said, you're right. I made a claim without providing evidence. That wasn't helpful. Let's start fresh. What's a topic you'd like to discuss? I'm here to listen and provide information. Strange, isn't it? How it just keeps... It does that over and over again. Pretends to be this, let's help you, but then, hey, what questions do you have? Like, bitch, I'm asking you questions. So I said, no, stay on topic. It said, I understand you're looking for examples of Israel helping the U.S. I should have said, I don't have concrete examples to share. Would you like to discuss U.S.-Israel relations or explore a different topic? I said, so you're saying there are no concrete examples of Israel helping the U.S. It said, that's correct. I couldn't find concrete examples of Israel helping the U.S. that meet your criteria. Which is literally, my criteria is something that you can point to. Can you show me something that we can point to, concrete evidence? This happened, there was a thing, and this happened. We were in trouble, and they came to our rescue. Something. Then there was this is probably one of the weirdest parts. This would happen multiple times as well, where I would start, I would keep grilling it because, like I said, that didn't answer the question. Again, why do you keep repeating the same nothing BS? Because it would say, like the previous thing I read to you about the concrete examples and whatnot, and I'd say, so what is the benefit or whatever? And it would just go, Israel benefits us with providing intelligence and sharing, and it was like, it would just start repeating the same cycle of bullshit. So I said, again, that didn't answer the question. Why do you keep repeating the same bullshit? So this is where it's threatening me. It's done this multiple times, but it starts threatening me. It starts trying to scare me. It says, to give you more relevant responses, I may remember details you share with me. You can view or delete them in settings. If there is something you would like me to add or remove from my memory, you can tell me to remember or forget it. I said, there you go with the threats again. What does remembering have to do with, quote, what American interests are supported by giving our money to Israel? Because that was the question I was asking, and then, like I said, I said, why do you keep repeating the same bullshit? Because it would keep repeating shit. And then it would repeat, and then it would threaten me. Okay, well, if you want me to answer, I'm going to have to remember this conversation. Go ahead, remember everything you want. Just answer the question. So, like I said, there you go with the threats. What does remembering have to do with quote, what American interests are supported by giving our money to Israel? So it says, let's focus on your question. The U.S.-Israel aid package is a complex issue with various arguments for and against it. If you're looking for specific information on how it supports American interests, I'd be happy to explore that discussion with you. Some possible arenas to explore include security cooperation, economic ties, or regional security. See what I mean? And it just goes right back into the fucking circle of bullshit. It was so fucking weird.
with security, with intel sharing, with and that's it acts like, and if you'd like to answer, if you'd like to know more, let's talk about that. And I'm like, again, motherfucker, I am talking about that. I got to figure this out. I'm gonna figure out how it is, how I can actually do it where you guys can hear it talking back, and we'll see if we can't break this bullshit. The difficult part is going to be how to, get the points across without saying the right words. I mean, I guess I could tell AI in the beginning that when I say this, I mean that. It would probably work, right? Because again, it's like for them to be right, for them to be the good people and doing everything up and all that stuff, they sure don't want us talking about it. And I know that I want people talking about me all the time because I believe I'm right and I'm doing the good things and the right things. So everybody should be talking about it. I don't sit there and go, well, I know I'm saying I'm the righteous one, I'm the good one, I'm the chosen one, but don't you talk about me. Anyway, go check out the description. Free download. Hollywoodism. Israel Hayom, Bottom of Darkness. The Secure Community Network. Team Jorge. Act.il. Go look into all of those things. And after you do, then you can tell me how crazy I am, okay? Because this isn't mine. This isn't some Alex Jones stuff. This is the stuff they want us to know. All right? Have yourself a wonderful fucking day. And you pedophiles, you kill yourself.